40 seconds of logos, which, if you adjust the inflation from 1995, is like a minute and 6 seconds of logos.
Who the hell would want to blow up a department store?
Did you ever see a woman miss a shoe sale?
People are dead, but woman missing a shoe sale. This joke makes it all worth it.
Walter. Yeah. I think you better take this.
This is the mid-90s phone version of the "you better come take a look at this" cliche.
Simon says Lieutenant McLean is to go to the corner of 138th Street and Amsterdam.
What if he makes this call, but last night John McClane was killed in a freak gasoline fight accident? How does he heist then? Does he mutter and stammer, is there Lieutenant Smith there? And improvise? He's after the gold, after all, right? But toying with McClane is so important to his plan, and yet he didn't know before today that McClane had been suspended. So this dude planned 100 details down to the millimeter, but left McClane's involvement up to chance, which is some bull.
Well, you better find out what rock he's under and kick it over.
Holy that was super easy.
14 dump trucks stolen from a yard in Staten Island.
Chekhov's 14 stolen dump trucks.
Still betting your badge, Rick?
Yeah, $69.91 every week.
Holy expositionally convenient foreshadowing numbers.
Hey, what was the lottery number last night?
467.
Lottery number was 4667. Chances of winning this lottery almost negates it being a lottery, right?
Half the cops in New York play their badges.
And according to this lottery's weirdly diminutive number system, at least 100 cops are millionaires by now.
We're gonna drop back to 128th Street.
10 blocks?
Oh, come on, Bruce. We know you can live with at least 16 blocks.
If we don't do it, this guy says he's gonna blow up another public place.
Why me? What does he got to do with me?
I have no idea.
Police work cannot be this way. This movie is superbly shot, well-paced, and entertaining, but it's still a stupid script. He was dead 3 minutes ago, but sure, let's act like people are just honking at this racist bullshit and not acting on it.
Uncle, you better come look at this.
Inside 10 minutes, this movie has its second come take a look at this cliche. I know Simon wants to play with John McClane because of something, he's Hans Gruber's brother, but did he have to play a game this racist? And what if he dies? Then all the other games he's set up explicitly for McClane later in the movie are gonna be played by, I don't know, Dave Bautista probably. Who sees that racist sign and thinks, I am definitely the guy to go defuse this and calm Harlem down by my lonesome? It is impossible that nobody on these steps has seen McClane and his kill me sign yet. What the hell was this cab doing this close to the curb, since obviously nobody was hailing it? Doesn't really matter. It's the most fortuitous cab that has ever existed in New York City.
A nut who knows a lot about bombs. We found this in a playground. Professional, very cool.
Hold the up, Drew Carey. You found that in a playground? What playground? Why is the finding of this device and its location immediately yada yada, just so we can show off what the bomb construction is? Oh, I figured it out. Also, why was anybody snooping around in a playground? And why was there explosive liquid there? Later on in the movie, John and Zeus will need to solve a water puzzle in a playground with a bomb in a briefcase, but the bomb arms itself once the case is open. Here, this is just a random briefcase with no purpose except to explain that the bad guys are using explosive liquid, and it serves as a way to get Zeus into the action later.
Either one by itself, you got nothing. But mix them.
Yeah, allow me to demonstrate in the middle of the captain's office this highly dangerous explosive. What I'm about to do is very unscientific, and I have no way of knowing what will happen, but we'll be very cool and explain how dangerous it is. Also, all he gets is a brief yelling. He's not suspended or written up or any kind of otherwise reprimanded for this dangerous stunt that could have killed someone.
His own wife wants nothing to do with him, and he's about 2 steps shy of becoming a full-blown alcoholic.
Jesus. Why does Walter tell Simon this, even if it is to make him think that John isn't special? Does he think that Simon will drop his vendetta against McClane because of it?
72nd Street subway, payphone, 15 minutes, McLean and the Samaritan.
Why does Simon need Zeus on this? If the whole thing is about getting revenge on McClane, what purpose can he serve in the grand scheme of things?
If you're competent in the least, you found the briefcase.
They found it in some playground, but I'm still waiting for someone to tell me how or why or what the clue was they solved, because I know none of that exists, and this early warning bomb briefcase is some plot-driven he conjured up out of thin air.
Well, I'm not going anywhere.
Simon says you gotta go.
I'm wondering, would a police department really put a citizen in danger like this? Even if they thought a madman was going to bomb something if they didn't?
Charlie, where'd you find that bomb?
Chinatown.
So the point of this is McClane's going to lie to Zeus about finding it in Harlem so that he'll agree to come along. But I'm still wondering why the bomb was found in Chinatown, since Simon has no plans to set up there, and why it was just lying around.
This guy doesn't care about skin color, even if you do.
Of all the things the Die Hard franchise didn't need, it's the racism angle. And also, why antagonize Zeus any further when you need him?
He's working on a nice fat suspension.
Smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo.
Get it? This one movie with these two actors referenced that other movie with these two actors. And it was righteous, no? Are you not bathed in righteous dude bro vibes of movie trivia awesomeness?
They made it to the phone, but there's a problem.
Camera points to a payphone area where there are at least 3 payphones, and 2 of them are open. But they're worried about this lady, who was not even pictured in that shot. Either way, there are several payphones open, so how do they know they need just this one? All Simon said was 72nd Street subway payphone.
As I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives.
I don't know how the Zeus hears this, especially since John is hogging most of the earpiece and considering how fast Simon is talking.
The answer's one. One guy. How do you dial 1? 555-0001.
How in the did Simon get a phone number that ended in 0001? Especially since it's got that classic movie 555 designation, and apparently there are only 9,999 people in New York.
Use any means of travel other than civilian, I blows a train. Attempt to evacuate the subway, I blows a train.
Weird. He didn't say not to call other cops to board the 3 train and try to find the explosive. This is important, since Simon needs the bomb to explode close to Wall Street. If it blows up earlier, his plan is over. Having driven through New York City on a number of occasions, let me tell you that this move John just did is impossible, unless the cars know you're coming and make a perfect space for you to go through.
I didn't say Park Drive. I said through the park.
This is some classic New York City movie bull right here. They're trying to get to Wall Street, which is on the southern tip of Manhattan. John thinks the park is the fastest way south, but the south end of the park ends up at 59th Street, far from their destination. The amount of time saved here is negligible, especially since they started at 72nd Street, a mere 13 blocks away. This cab survived this and luckily doesn't kill anybody.
I got 2 officers down at the corner of 14th Street and 9th Avenue. Need an ambulance, over.
Was that honestly easier than just him calling his boss, who knows what's up, and asking for a fire truck? New Yorkers continue to be insanely helpful as McClane drives across streets with you traffic on them. Not only that, he's somehow going to time an ambulance exactly so that he can follow it all the way to 14th Street.
You said Wall Street, we could have followed them all the way.
Wrong. South of 14th Street's a different hospital. St. Luke's.
John called an ambulance that A, would go as far as 14th Street, and B, would be summoned close to where they're currently driving. And he picked one that would be coming from Roosevelt Hospital because they were the closest. But he claims that the only ambulances that would go further would come from St. Luke's. But this is confusing, because St. Luke's and Roosevelt are the same hospital, unless he's talking about Mount Sinai St. Luke's, which is much further north. It makes no sense that they would go farther south than Roosevelt's ambulances.
It's a bad idea.
How are we even certain this is the same 3 train that has the bomb on it? Wouldn't there be multiple 3 trains running right now? This dude is so oblivious to his surroundings, he doesn't even see that Zeus nearly hit that truck and wasn't stopping for him.
What? You don't like white people?
Like, for real, this just isn't needed. Sure, a stupid asshole is going to get somewhat of a comeuppance after Zeus gives him the ride from hell, but it's like the screenwriters were writing a story about racism and decided to drop a Die Hard into the middle of it.
I have to answer that phone.
Just shut up and get him in the air.
He goes on to answer the phone and not get shot, and that is nothing short of a f***ing miracle.
The rules applied to both of you.
You were not clear on that, man. You're moving the goalposts now. And yes, he has to set off the bomb in order for the rest of his plan to happen. But he's still moving the goalposts. This will be the second bomb to explode in New York on the same day, and yet everything will move along as normal, like this isn't a terrorist act. The idea that government buildings, schools, and other places aren't shut down after this is ludicrous. But they'll remain open for continued plot conflicts.
You got a load of cuts and bruises, a couple concussions, some old guy's pacemaker stopped, and a pregnant girl's water broken, that's all.
That's all? Not one person died? That's so unbelievable you might be living in the Matrix. The train got blown up onto the platform and took out columns, and oh, f*** you, here's 10 sins for this crap.
What are the odds of us making it down here on time?
Zip.
Movie tells you what complete and utter nonsense it was that they made it, only to use it to show how smart McClane is in figuring out that the bomb was going to go off no matter what, sweeping that utter and total nonsense under the rug.
The name Gruber mean anything to you, Lieutenant?
Why did the FBI guys wait to reveal this? Is it so they could exposit to the audience and build up the dramatic tension?
That thing in the building in L.A.
I was there, but I was playing someone else.
If you attempt to evacuate schools, the bomb will be detonated by radio. And gentlemen, someone will be watching.
You just said there are over 1,400 schools in New York City. The fact that they believe you is grade A bullshit.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Jeremy Irons is such a terrific bad guy. Listen to that voice churn through hook, line, and sinker and tell me you wouldn't listen to this man read the phone book. But, yeah, I think even Simon is surprised that the entire NYPD decides to go searching for a bomb that will blow in 3 hours in one of the over 1,400 schools in New York. This feels like a situation where they'd call the principals and they'd get the entire staff at each school to search for something unusual, rather than dedicating 100% of their resources to an impossible search. Some resources could be used to figure out what the hell Simon might be planning other than setting off a bomb at a school, no?
All calls will be coming through this switchboard.
And I'm gonna marry Donald Trump.
Movie makes me consider a world where Donald Trump marries Wanda Shepard, changing history to a degree that is so fantastic that I don't ever want to leave. Okay, so here's Matthias getting on one of the dump trucks, and here's Simon posing as a city engineer. But didn't Walsh just see these two guys' pictures in the FBI van? Because he was there during that scene. Or did they just show those pictures to McClane? Either way, it's massively sinful, and I won't have it. Look at this f***ing precision timing.
I threw his little brother off the 32nd floor.
You threw him? You dropped him at best, man. I'd argue sweat played a part, and it was all an accident, but you definitely did not throw him. God damn. You couldn't walk that ramp? You had to hitch a ride? How lazy are you?
Our alarms are sonic and seismic, two things which I'm afraid do not react well to explosions.
This is exactly why it's nearly impossible to believe that areas of interest like the Federal Reserve aren't protected more in this movie after a bomb goes off near Wall Street.
Hey, Captain, you want to come down here and take a look at this?
You better come take a look at this cliche again. Wow, she must really love blood. Otherwise, this is needlessly messy, time-wasting, inefficient, and stupid. Sending the fact that no one saw or found this briefcase before now.
Get the jugs.
Multiple choice. Get the Jugs is A, my high school's sexual pursuits, summed up in a succinct phrase. B, the name of a police undercover operation targeting fans of the Insane Clown Posse. C, the name of a spicy Albanian cola drink. Or D, the title of a series of X-rated Archie Comics fanfiction.
You can't start over. Put my foot up your ass, you dumb motherfucker. You were gonna call me a n***, weren't you? What were you gonna call me? Asshole! How's that?
First off, movie and our characters in a time-sensitive task have time for this. Second off, I've always hated this exchange because John is clearly about to call Zeus a motherfucker. Zeus incorrectly deduces a racial slur despite the evidence, then John says that he was going to call him an asshole, which is also wrong.
You got some problem with me because I'm white, Zeus?
Skip.
I got it. Exactly 2 gallons in here, right?
Movie totally skips some steps when it comes to how they got exactly 2 gallons in the 3-gallon jug. And while I know how they did it by doing my own thinking, it's unsatisfying and, geez, why'd they do it this way? Like any movie with puzzles as a secondary distraction, they don't bother to show us the steps in the thought process and spent more time on a race argument than the puzzle itself.
You did it, McClane!
While I think McClane is smart in his own way, he's shown no capacity to do a puzzle like this better than Zeus can. So this is clearly a moment in the script where someone said, John's got to be able to do at least one of these so that he looks smart. Somehow there's still one dump truck full of gold that nearly runs over McClane so that he can figure out yet another clue. Later we see all the dump trucks in a neat line going down the FDR. This lone wolf is still playing catch-up because it's important to the plot. Here's a point where I don't understand why they don't kill McClane right now. They have complete control of the Federal Reserve, and nobody who matters is around to witness a murder. And then, during an entire elevator ride, they don't kill him. Also, why is there anyone still here? The gold is gone. Shouldn't they be gone too?
Yeah, what do you think of this heat this late in the year?
Yeah, Indian summer, huh?
Yeah, feels like it's gonna rain like dogs and cats later. But it seems like I always end up rotting the lift.
Holy shit, this guy made 3 verbal I'm not American mistakes in a matter of 20 seconds. Are we sure these guys are as well trained as we were told? Sure is a good thing they talked about the lottery numbers and cops playing their badges earlier, huh? And Walsh was very particular about saying what his badge number was. Very fortunate.
Oh! Anybody down here?
What the fuck is he doing? McClane's a cop. It's in his nature to investigate and shit. Zeus has been trying to get out of this situation all movie long, so him strolling down here shouting does not compute. If it's straight and metal, he can start a car.
Down there, McClane. FDR.
Check out the big eyesight on Zeus! Also, how are these trucks still in a place where they can see them? I know the traffic is bad today, but these trucks would be long gone. McClane almost got hit by one of those trucks 7 minutes ago in real time. In movie time, that's like 14 years.
It's a Yugo. It's built for economy, not speed.
You guys stole a f***ing Yugo in the epicenter of Wall Street? How were there no better options? What was a Yugo driver doing down there?
Walter, they don't allow dump trucks on the FDR!
And yet the dump trucks are on the FDR. How did they get away with that? Did they pay somebody off? Did they kill some people? Who knows? It doesn't matter.
Hi, it's Elvis Duran. You're on the air. What's up?
First of all, I just want to tell you what a great show you got.
Holy shit. Simon called a radio station and immediately got his call in without a screener or anything. Some people call radio stations and wait an hour or more to get on with the host.
Down there, down there!
One f***ing dump truck. They go on a detour to track down one truck, as if Simon's men took all the dump trucks in all the world, and any dump truck you see driving around must be part of the Federal Reserve heist. And McClane does this super dangerous maneuver where both of them could have been killed just to track this down. Also, this scene is all the you to logic and common sense. This doesn't even happen in Grand Theft Auto. You are dead. You're both dead.
Those from here all the way up to the Catskill Mountains.
This one dump truck they tracked down just so happens to lead to a huge piece of Simon's plan. Could have been a dump truck going to any construction site in all of New York, but luckily for John, this becomes a major crack in the case. Holy shit. McClane kills these guys from behind before visually confirming they were part of Simon's crew. Like, this is f***ing murder, man. I'm pretty sure nobody called ahead of time to allow Zeus in the park, so I'm sure you can just walk into Yankee Stadium without a ticket and hang out while they prepare the field and why not? It's open for f***ing everybody. You want to pose nude with Derek Jeter? He's available for that noon to 2 on Tuesdays. This movie came out 10 days before his debut, but that's how dedicated he was to the fans. Movie massively glosses over how easy it is for German terrorists with a sniper rifle to get access to a VIP booth in Yankee Stadium on a non-game day.
You gotta hear this!
He f***ing got here fast. I thought he was going to call a cop, but he somehow found him in person and ran there in lightning fast time. Christ. This movie wants to be New York City as hell, but it also wishes geography wasn't a thing.
Take a look at this. The janitor said this one was delivered this morning, about 10:30, right?
This is exactly why simple phone calls to the schools would have worked a lot better than the bull they were doing. Call the schools and ask the staff about unusual deliveries instead of searching every school hoping to find a bomb. John's able to spin this truck around and go forward like a professional dump truck driver, just like they taught him at the academy. Also, considering this spin took 3 cuts to show, I'm just going to take a wild guess and say that maneuver is bull. This is the most offensive coincidence in all of film history. Right here. This noise. Write better screenplays. Where are these gunshots even coming from? I guess we're not supposed to think too deeply about it, but this seems to say that the bad guys followed Zeus and either decided to wait until this moment to start shooting, which means they are horrible shots, or they are shooting wildly from the road and are super undisciplined. A red sedan will now crash into the bad guy's truck, but in the next shot it will become a gray Buick, because editing is hard when you only have so many shots to work with.
Why the hell didn't you tell me before? Of course he put the bomb up in that school. Why would he do that? Make sure he got your complete attention.
First of all, yes. Why the f*** did Zeus not mention his nephews going to Chester A. Arthur Elementary, even if he didn't know he was the 21st president? Second of all, do we ever figure out completely why Simon wanted Zeus to participate in these games so much? There is no end game to that. Sure is awesome that the crazy traffic on this road manages to give McClane a huge amount of space to perform this maneuver without getting in the way. Also, after this, everybody keeps going, like it's nothing. Just a typical everyday traffic accident that nobody needs to slow down for. This guy is checking for stray students in the building, but takes the time to lock each classroom after half-assedly examining it for kids. This leads to kids being locked in here and nearly dying, but it's also a super inefficient way to check for stray kids, since time is of the essence. Even if you're on a mad dash to find a terrorist bomber guy, stopping your car on a busy bridge has got to be one of the most dick-headed things you can do, especially since there's no reason to do it, unless you know you're about to pull off some insane stunt.
How about the Coast Guard? It'd take him an hour to get here.
Even when New York City should be on high alert after 2 bombings, I'm no expert in these matters, but I can call bull on this, right? The only henchman that had noticed them was sliced in half by the Dodge Ram winch cable. That's convenience you just won't get with a Ford. A gun is louder than this, but not by that much. My point is that on a ship this big in metal, someone should be hearing this door murder. As I watched John meandering through the ship, then cut to a shot of Zeus meandering through the ship, I remember how John said, "Don't be a hero, if you find him, come get me." And I'm wondering how the f*** Zeus is supposed to find John if they're both meandering around this giant-ass boat.
It's going to take safety catch off.
This is 100% on McClane. Also, the director said, "Jeremy, you're German, so instead of an apple, let's have your character eat a hard-boiled egg. It'll make you look like even more of an asshole." These cops out here presumably are herding or giving the kids directions, but honestly, they're just in the f***ing way, man. What? Last we saw this fight, German dude had beaten John to shit, and John managed to trip him. And we come back to John not only having the upper hand, but hits him 3 times with a chain, and guy is out, and John starts stealing watches. The hell? How'd she get those 2 guys up there? We saw that thing 30 seconds ago, and I didn't see any f***ing ladders.
Got any aspirins?
Again with the aspirins. I'm pretty sure McClane downed about 25 aspirins in this movie already. But now he gets Simon, who suffers from migraines and needs them, to throw a bottle important to the plot at John because, shrug.
How about a splinter of that cable I slid down?
That might work.
A splinter from a cable is going to unlock some handcuffs. Sure, the idea that it could unlock these handcuffs almost makes me forget about the convenience of this splitter's availability.
Surprised anybody could stay with you long enough to be married.
Yeah, well,
Cosmic skip. You gotta love how McClane manages to do a bunch of random banging, gets just enough explosive to break Zeus's cuffs, and manages to break them without blowing up Zeus's hands. Zeus is only mildly hurt. Did I say there wouldn't be another survives this scene? I was lying. John notices this tiny writing on the bottom of the bottle that the movie itself needs to zoom and cut zoom for us to read. I swear I've never seen so much lucky shit in my life outside of a Harry Potter movie. It's further crazy that Simon bought his aspirin here of all places, I guess before he went to New York to carry out his plan, and that John knew that it was a truck stop in Quebec. This also opens up all sorts of jurisdictional arguments, like can the NYPD just fly into Canada to arrest or kill suspects?
I think she's pissed at you, McClane.
Why the hell would they have brought this dude along on this bust? The explanation the movie wants to give is that time was of the essence, and this isn't ultimately even a police chopper, it's a medical chopper. But I still think the civilian with the gunshot wound gets left behind once they decide to use this chopper in a raid. Simon can't hit anything, despite being a highly trained soldier. Does anybody in a helicopter ever hit anything? Simon has him. He has him. But instead, he waits while John figures out a solution, continues to wait while John says,
Say hello to your brother.
And I've never seen a villain more deserving of death because of his procrastination.
Who invaded Spain in the 8th century?
Get him up! Freeze!
I'm just getting a drink.
I want to play a game.
Name the killer in Halloween.
Simon.
Hey, homie. Let me speak to Mr. Bert Henson.
Must go faster.
He didn't say hey, Zeus. He said, hey, Zeus. My name is Zeus.
Zeus?
Yeah, Zeus. Brain, I'm Superfly TNT. I'm the Guns of the Navarone.